All right, we are your home for Hawaii's music. We are Kapa 100.3, 99.1, and online at kaparadio.com. Another edition of the Kapa Cafe. Of course, we are still quarantine edition, but I think what's really good is this has made Zoom available, which means we can now see our guests. And
I know.
I'm excited. We talked to our guests before, but now we're going to have the visual, and we got a lot more to talk about. Julian Romero of Hawaiian Time. How you, my brother?
Aloha. Hey, this is a step up. I remember the last time we called was like almost 2 years ago, and I was actually driving on the freeway. My window was broken, and I was going by like Red Hill.
Sorry,
that was a rocky one, but hey, this is modern. All right.
All right, man. Yeah, like through the wonders of technology, we were able to be like, remember back in the day, I was like, oh, can you come into the station?
Yeah.
If you have island, you got to plan like one tour or something.
Right.
Sorry, right? So, last time we talked, man, you guys were, it was about on the release of the 2019 rendition of Kiss Me.
Right.
And we knew that there were other songs in the works from there, and many of those have released. So the most recent one, of course, we had with a duet with Napua, debuting today, the Hawaii 501.
Oh,
yeah. Debut that one today. So, keep everybody up to date, man. What's been going on since the last interview?
Well, so since the last interview, we released an EP in 2019. It was 7 songs, so a big EP. We were going to do an album, but we kind of ran out of time. Because we release, and then December was there already. So we said, let's wrap it up to see, we have a lot of songs, so we're like choosing what to do. And then so 5-0 was in that EP. Hey, thank you for releasing that. That's Langa Savea on drums, and he really killed it. That was a fun.
One of my heroes, that guy.
We're on our way out. It's funny. We did 4 albums in the 90s, and then we made a comeback. But the comeback 2 years ago was already with the second retirement in mind. So it was just we got a lot of songs that we've done. Like the song that you guys did, True Love, the song that we just released. That's actually a song that we did. That was supposed to be released on our 1999 Diversity album. And all the music was done except for the drums and bass. What happened was Marvick Escobil, who was one of the great keyboard players in the 90s, he tragically passed away. So he didn't finish that track. We have 2 songs that he did on that album, but this one wasn't finished. So I've been sitting on it. And, I'm a school teacher, so I started getting my classroom ready for the social distancing, 6 feet. So I was throwing away a lot of things. So I moved this one box out of my storage, and from underneath it, something dropped, and I looked at it. It was a receipt from Marvick for keyboard work that he did. And then I just took it like, wow, he wants us to finish his work. I took it like a message. So I said, so we're deciding what songs we're going to finish. So I said, let's finish that one. I think Marvick wants us to finish his last work here on this earth. And so, that's why we chose to finish that song. Been sitting on that song for 20 years thinking who I'm going to ask to sing sing the female part. And, for a long time, I thought it was going to be Ilona Irvine. I've always been a big fan of hers. And then, my brother's on Maui, Napua's on Maui. And I was like, I don't know. She came to my mind. And, I've been friends with her since high school. And so I asked her, and, she did a really great job. I love her performance on that song.
It's awesome when you can record now with friends that you have a past with, because it comes out in the music. When you mentioned the thing with Marvick, I was actually, this is a kind of a weird coincidence. I was actually in the studio with Graydon at Wendell's the week that it happened.
Oh, wow.
And Marvick played on Graydon's album that we were working on that never came out. It was never released.
Wow.
Yeah. It was that week, bro.
Yeah. It was such a tragic loss. He was such a great guy. He had an infectious smile and attitude. And I'm just glad I was able to, finish this song. And he did, if you listen to the keyboard work, it's unbelievable. It's from the 90s, but he's so good that it transcends time, really. Yeah. And so I miss that guy. And thank you for playing that song.
Because, bro.
Oh, bro, He was great. And as good as he was in the studio, he was even better live. Any type, he played with Loyal Garner, Naleo Pilimihana. And then he dropped, 3plus's Honey Baby album. That's all him. Yeah. And just unreal work on that. That guy was terrific. And I'm just glad that we were able to work with him. Special guy.
Your brother Mahina engineered a lot of that album. Oh,
that guy. Let me guess. The budget was small. That's why you guys had Mahina.
I didn't this the last time, but your brother and I were kind of interns at the same time at Wendell's.
Okay. All right.
We're learning the same stuff around the same time. But
great guy to learn from.
Right.
Great guy to learn from.
Exactly. Now, what I love about you guys is you guys come from an era where there was a lot of songwriting going on. Now the attention span of a lot of the younger generation and the ability to do things fast because of the internet, there's not a lot of time taken on songwriting nowadays. Like, I know cats, and even now I've gotten faster as and the times of being able to write faster, where back in the day it was kind of, songs took a while, you sat on a verse and then you went later, and then this happens where you have a song and then you actually record it like 20 years later or 10 years later. But you end up having an archive. Like, I bet you that if you did 3 more albums, you wouldn't have to rewrite. I bet you have stuff in your archives.
Yeah, I've written over 100 songs.
Yeah,
and so, like, even now we're just finishing up. Like, we're doing an album we're going to release an album in 2021. And so, most of the music is done already. It's just, the hard part is that, I normally track my brothers, but, Louis, who's our lead singer again, people who know the, story of Hawaiian Time is, Louis Lipine and, Kalani Benenua, who now lives in Waimea, was the lead singers of Hawaiian Time. And then we released our first album, and Mahina graduated from high school and we wanted to play on Oahu. So we moved to Oahu, and my brother was a fireman. He already had a couple kids. And, Terrence Kalani had 3 kids. I was like, okay, can I get these guys divorced? And flying them up every weekend. And my brother's a fireman, so he's already away from the house every other night. Right. So then that's how Graydon Kelly, I asked my good friend from high school, Graydon Kelly, if he could join us. And so he moved over, and then Kekai and Graydon became the emphasis. And then the albums after that, Kekai became more prominent as the lead singer, me trying to force Kekai be the lead singer. And, he did a great job. He's a jammer kind of deal. He has a good vocal, but Louis' voice is special. And so we're back to Louis being the main. Kekai's still, the lead man and a main singer, but we're back to having Louis as the forefront because, some people know, we talked about it last time, he almost died. He had a AML leukemia and 5% chance to live. And, thankfully Kekai was a perfect match, and they did a stem cell transplant. It's going to be 7 years. It's going to be 7 years. So even now, when I hear my brother sing, I see him on the video, my brother Louis, it's just a miracle to me, because we almost lost him. And actually, even after he was, it took a year for him to even be able to sing anything. He couldn't sing. And I never thought he would regain what he had to, because he couldn't hold notes. He couldn't really hold his breath long.
And he can still sing in that range now, yeah? In the original keys.
Yeah, so when we did Kiss Me, I said we're going to do it's in F. So I told him we're going to do it in E. And then so I actually made the music, and I sent him to practice because he's on Maui, I'm on Oahu, and he said, "Oh, go back to F." I'm like, "No." And then I said, "No, E. We're going to do it in E." And then but he forced me to go back to F. And so yeah, he still sings in the same range, but he lost his fastball. Don't tell him that. Now we know if you listen to his tracks, his earlier tracks, so if you listen to all our backgrounds too on those early tracks, he's singing like what people sing falsetto at full voice.
Right.
And it's almost unlimited range on a full voice. And he can kind of do that, but now you listen to his vibrato he never had. He never had a major vibrato now. So now and the vibrato, I think he's fighting to keep notes. And so, and it's a learning process for me and him, because we're learning his new voice as I'm tracking him, because he has to learn how to keep that vibrato on pitch, because he can float too much. Yeah. So, and you know, when you look at in the waveform, you see that the notes, and you got to keep it
hard for tune vibrato.
Especially what a vibrato is wide, yeah. So he's learning his new voice actually, but you know it's still beautiful. He still has such a lovely voice, and such a blessed voice, and we're glad to have him. Every time I see him and hear him, it's just a miracle of God that he's still here. He's still here.
You know, speaking of Ohana singing, I watched a documentary on the Bee Gees the other day. That's Netflix or something. But but a lot of the people that were being interviewed were talking about there's something special about siblings harmonizing.
Yeah.
It's almost like so natural that nobody has to figure anything out. It's like your voices just naturally know who gets what, who goes where. Somebody goes the other way, the other person knows to drop. It just, it's different with siblings, yeah?
It's weird in a way too. And even though we have different voices, there's similarity in something. And I don't know. It's somewhere in the timbre, there's this fusion within our voices. Because Kekai is more on the baritone, Pini's a super high. I'm like right in the middle. Mahina can actually sing the super highs, but you could substitute us in the background harmonies, and you may not know which one is singing that part. And I gotta watch that documentary. And people have always talked about how our harmonies there's that synergy, and that is, I think, that brother thing. And the family thing. And you hear it. Yeah.
Speaking of which, it's another funny story. So, a mentor of mine, you worked with many years ago. One of my mentors was George Chun.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
The reason I am a behind the scenes man is because of George. I wanted to do the work George did.
Okay.
And I remember one day sitting and talking with him, and it was around the time that we were kind of doing the thing with Ehukai. And he was going over the business with me, and he was talking about how to properly market a group, and how to market things. And he used you guys as a prime example one time in a conversation. He was talking about the brothers thing. There was really nothing coming from Lanai and how they were going to market you, but there was this family thing. And the name that came up, he said, he used to call me Power Ranger. And he was like, Power Ranger, we made the Osmonds of Lanai.
Well, that is so funny. Yeah, George was
ever do that with you guys?
No. Well, we had a falling out a little bit, a small kind of falling out. They wanted a 3-album contract. We forced them to do a 1, and then with a possible of 2, but, we wanted more flexibility. And they understood it. The relationship was good. Even till 20 years later, I last seen George a while ago. I don't even know if he's still around.
He passed, yeah. Because
I know the last time I saw him too, he had some, severe health issues. He said the thing about us that, the reason people like us is because we're really nice guys, genuine people. And he said that, people in the crowd and people who listen to our music, they know that, they can feel that. And so that's the only thing I remember him saying, but the Osmonds of Lanai, that's funny. And so what we did is we had a demo. Yeah. We made a demo. We flew over to Maui. Boat ride over to Maui, and we made a demo, and, I just sent it to Tom Moffat, and, the rest is history. They saw things in us, and it was thankful for Tom and George. Yeah.
Good time, yeah. Back because I worked with the same people with Uncle Tom and with Ken Wise, and it's a different time. Nobody has really deals anymore. Yeah, it's kind of like you kind of save money. Maybe you build your own studio, or you have a studio, and then you put everything on DistroKid.
Right. But back then you needed it though. Yeah. If you think about it, the cost of an album.
Oh,
before
$30,000 maybe at that time.
Yeah. Well, it's been 25, 30 years later, and the cost for a studio is probably about $50 an hour now. $50 an hour you can get in anywhere. Yeah. And it was more than that 25 years ago.
200 sometimes, yeah.
Yeah, depending what room, what engineer you're using. So nowadays you can build, you can build your own stuff. You can sub out certain things. You can have somebody mix it for you for a lot cheaper. Back then, if you didn't have a deal, you better have some cash, deep pockets. Yeah.
So as you guys are, you said that you're ready for a second retirement. So this last album that's coming out this year, this going to be the last one?
Nah, I don't know.
Kids. How about your guys' kids?
Well, Mahina's kids are performing planning. In fact, I have a song that one of his daughters are probably going to sing. They're working on an album as well.
They're single a while ago too.
Yeah. So they're doing an album, and then but the album is, I think, more Hawaiian contemporary side. But the song that I'm writing, that I've written is more of I don't know which way we're going to go, pop or dance hall, but it's a pretty cool song. Fiji's going to be working on it. So, awesome. Yeah.
So where's all the brothers nowadays, bro?
So, Pina is on Maui, Kekai's here, and Mahina is on Lanai. And that's, people wonder what happened to us, yeah, and why we had that first retirement. And, life happened to us. One of the main things is, we're all on different islands, and then my father passed away. And he was, my father was the band leader for all our lives, from when we were young at least. And he had us playing on stage from when my oldest brother was about 4. There's always been Louis in the front, and then the 3 brothers were the background singers. And he passed away, and it was very hard on all of us. And then my mom was home on Lanai by herself. My mom is not from Lanai. She has made a lot of friends, and people who became like family. And but my father was the Lanai boy, so Mahina moved back home, and that pretty much was tough. And then we would fly him back and forth, but then we started having kids, multiple kids, and that was the priority. Yeah? It's hard to go nightclubbing all night and playing to 3:00 in the morning like we used to. And then the kids are there in the morning, and then we all got married, and that just became a priority. But now, we're older, the kids are older, and I got all these songs. I got hundreds of songs. And a lot of them are recorded. So we're going to release another song in a month or so. We're going to see how True Love goes. And it's actually a cover, but the music was done in 1999. So we got plenty of those. Actually that was maybe 2000.
Is it on analog?
No. So, it's MIDI files.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So,
okay.
Yeah. So even with Marvik's one, he passed away, and then, Ronnie Esteban, with best friends with him, also a great keyboard player, he was able to look through, because I said, Ronnie, can you find these songs? It was 3 songs actually, and Ronnie was able to find the MIDI files. For people who don't know, that's basically your computer version of your playing, and you can add audio tracks to it.
Now you can use a keyboard from today's sound kind.
Yeah. So with True Love, that's why we have modern sounds. The original sounds on there was all Korg and Rollins, but that's, you'd sound dated at that point. Yeah. So we were actually asked Ronnie a few months ago, Ronnie, can you find the right sounds that Marvik would pick now? And Ronnie was so happy that I asked him, because he told me he could feel Marvik with him as he was choosing, and yeah, it was chicken skin. I'm really glad that we were able to do this song. A lot of it because of Marvik's. Yeah.
You have Graydon, don't you? Do you have a song with Graydon? I could have swore you guys did a song, because I remember him going over for a video.
Oh, that was Kiss Me. The Kiss Me video.
He's on the video.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that one was like so we bring Graydon back for parties and stuff on Lanai, especially with Graydon. He's so great. And some people, they see him and they say, hey, we like hire you guys for one party, a luau, but can you bring Graydon? I said, okay. and then so anyway, he came over for a party to play with us, and then the next morning my nephew had a camera, we said, let's do a video. So that's how. So it's like a really not even low budget. It's a no budget video, but we had so much fun. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, tell everybody where they can get. Well, before I debut 5-0, because I want you to give them an hour behind that. Tell everybody where they can get all your singles available now, or they.
Yeah, so we're on all the digital outlets, iTunes, Spotify, even Amazon and all that stuff. That's the stuff I gotta get used to too. Even all of my old work, I only put it on a year ago, 2 years ago, all the old CDs, because for some of us, was going to retire and just say, thank you, that was fun. But then it was like, let's throw everything on, so we did. And, before we go to, before I talk about 5-0, I want to say my grandfather's name from New Li'i and Keokea, John Lipini Smith, Sniffin Smith, my aunties, Holalai, Auntie Quipo, Auntie Dachi, Auntie Deborah. We spent many summers growing up in Niuli'i, and there's a second home to us. 3 of us went to UH Hilo. 2 of us married Big Island girls, not me, but 2 of my brothers married Big Island girls. So we have a lot of family, a lot of friends, a lot of supporters, and thank you for having music for them to hear and be happy for us. Mahalo. 5-0. My father was a policeman. And we grew up in a policeman home, so a lot of the stuff that's in the song is like things my father would say to us. Yeah. And I don't know. I write when we talk about writing songs. I write songs in my dreams. Everybody writes differently. I wake up with melodies and stuff in my head, so I actually have to record it. Before I used to have a hand recorder. Now I just use my phone. There's an app for that. Yeah. And so, not all my songs, but 90% of my songs come to me that way. Melodies and sometimes, full arrangements. It's kind of weird. And before I used to be scared of it, but now I just accept it. And, so this song, it was fun to make. And parts of my father saying I can't even think of it right now, but you better not. I can't even think. Just the words in there is like things that he would say, and I just put it in the words, and it's a fun song. And for people who are anti-police, it's nothing like that. It's actually, I think more people are good with what the job that policemen are doing, and
especially in Hawaii.
Yeah. And then, the first person you're going to call if you have trouble is a policeman. And, there's bad apples, in everything, in every part of society. But for most policemen, and the thing about my father is he was a Lanai boy. Then he was part of HPD and he came back. And the hard thing is now you're in policeman. My father my grandfather died when he was young. So my dad was really kolohe. So a lot of them were like, what? You a cop now? They couldn't believe it. But, the old saying, crooks make the best cops, right? Right. So, a lot of it is, these people are in our community and really they all join the police force, or the majority of them is to protect and serve. And sometimes, it's a stressful job. So I like to tip my hat to all the law enforcement out there and all of, right now, all those essential workers and first responders, especially in this time, But yeah, this song's 5-0. Thank you for playing it, man. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, bro. All right, just want to take us out of here. Mahalo, brother.
Aloha. God bless. Take care. Mahalo.
They coming after you right now. They coming after you right now. Song going out to all the bad boys in all the area. APB on them bad boys. Better watch your back. Better watch your back. Your daddy always told you, son, you better walk in a straight line. Your mother always showed you what is wrong and what is right. Still you chose to walking on a slippery slope. And now them blue lights are after you. Hey, 5-0, 5-0 coming. 5-0 coming, they coming after you. 5-0, 5-0 coming. Let me say, 5-0 coming, they coming after you. They're coming after you right now. They coming after you right now. They coming after you right now. As the day, me say 5-0 coming, yes, they coming after you. 5-0 coming and you don't know what to do. Hey, 5-0 coming, yes, they coming after you. You better watch your back, you better cover your track, because 5-0 coming at you, and that's the fact, Jack. Hey, we got you on the run now, and you don't know where to turn. You chose to play with fire, you play with fire and you'll get burned. And it's getting hot right now, you can feel the heat right now. Yeah, 5-0, 5-0 coming, 5-0 coming, they're coming after you. 5-0, 5-0 coming, 5-0 coming, they're coming after you. You can run, but you cannot hide. Now 5-0, 5-0 coming, 5-0 coming, they're coming after you. Hey, 5-0, 5-0 coming, 5-0 coming, they're coming after you. They're coming after you right now. 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 Let's say 5-0 coming, yes, they're coming after you. 5-0 coming and you don't know what to do. Hey, 5-0 coming, yes, they coming after you. You better watch your back, you better cover your track, because 5-0 coming at you, and that's the fact, Jack. Hey.